What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is episode. This is episode 4, I believe, of the You Should Fact Check This podcast. And you know, there's been some interesting stuff going on. I'm not sure about in your world, but there's a lot of wild stuff going on just in the world in general. So it is in your world, but I don't know about
in this podcast.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll talk about some of it in the podcast for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's kick it off with what your bold take of the day is.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. COVID will be over in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Not so bold. I don't think
maybe by the end of the month. I think by the end of the month.
Yeah, I mean, New Mexico just dropped their mask mandates, which we were the last state to have a mask mandate. So we just dropped them this past weekend, which is fantastic. I'm very excited about that. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think that pretty much everybody recognizes that it's just
stupid.
Yeah, it's not dangerous anymore. And you know, among that, we have countries that are enacting some authoritarian rules over people. In just
Canada.
Yeah, what a point. Well, we'll probably get into that here soon. My bold take of.
Did I steal yours?
Huh? No.
Did I steal yours?
No. I honestly didn't really prepare one. But
because you're not bold.
Yeah, I'm not super bold. I'm pretty dull, if we're being honest. I don't know if that's the contrast to bold. Is dull. Thin? Is thin the contrast to bold? Either way, I'm one of those.
Uncreative.
Huh?
Uncreative. That's
not accurate.
Yeah, let's go with thin.
I believe that we could be entering a pretty serious recession, possible depression. This is my bold take, by the way. And possibly a war.
Definitely a war.
Here soon. So those are my bold takes of the day.
Which is a bummer because I just put $400 more in the stock market. So
yeah. The next probably 2 years are going to be relatively unfun in the stock market.
You think 2 years?
I think that's like a very pessimistic view, I think. I'm hoping much quicker than that, but pessimistically, like if I'm trying to be as rational as possible, I think it's probably within a year to 2 years.
It'll rebound.
I mean, it always goes up.
Yeah.
But when that is,
I mean,
we don't know.
40 years before we pull our money out, so it'll be.
I don't know about you, but I'm thinking 60. I think we'll probably be living on into our 120s, 140s pretty easy by the time we're getting to that age.
Well, that's a bold statement. Why didn't you use that as your bold statement?
Well, there you go. You know, we just continued one bold statement into the next. But yeah, I think with the advancement in you know, life expansion technology or life elongating technology, I think that it's very possible that we'll be seeing the majority of us that are under the age of 40 living into our 120s, 140s pretty easy. So
I disagree.
That's fair. That's a bold statement for you, though. You know?
Yeah. We got to find a cure for cancer before that happens, I think. Or is that what you're saying, is that you think within the next 20 years there's going to be a cure for cancer?
Yes. I think that
you could really get bold and say that there'll never be a cure for cancer because cancer makes too much money for people.
Yeah, no, I think that that's possible, but it's also possible that it becomes more monetarily, the word is skipping my head, but there's going to be more of an incentive to make people live longer than to treat cancer. So these companies are going to move away from cancer and just cure it, and then work on prolonging life. Because if you can add an extra 40 years of, prescription to people,
is that going to be fun 40 years though, or is that just going to be like, I'm still here, but I have a broken hip 40 years?
No, I actually think it'll be a fun 40 years. I think we talked about it on this podcast, but there's that company that is looking at life elongating. They got $3 billion of investment, and they tried it on rats. One of the main problems was that as soon as you introduce stuff like this into cells, they become tumorous, pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. However, they were able to counteract that, and their most recent trials didn't show any tumors. Or very little. You should fact check this for sure. But
that's why it's on the title.
Yeah.
I just don't know, I don't know. Do I want to live 40 more years?
Well, so the argument against living long, I think, is you don't want to see too many people in your life die, right?
Yeah.
So, probably less than 100 years ago, the life expectancy was what, 50?
Probably
45, 50.
70.
And that was because 75. People were dying of diarrhea when they were like 30.
Dysentery. But
yeah, well, they pooped a lot and then they died. So, and it was liquidy.
Yeah.
But I think that if you can prolong life for the majority, then you're just going to be living life normally. You're just going to have more time with the people that you love. And it's going to continue in that trend, I think.
Interesting.
And obviously, like we talked about on the last podcast, there's a very real possibility that within those next 100 years, considering we're only 20, we're in our 20s, which means we would have another 100 to 120 years with my prediction. We would see extreme advances in computer technology to the point where we may just be imported into computers.
Well, that doesn't sound like living.
Right, but what does sound like living? Like if you have all the same senses, if you have all the same feelings, if everything is...
I don't want to be a computer.
Yeah, but who's to say what a computer is and what a computer isn't? Like we talked about in the past, like if this is a simulation, it's such a good simulation that does it matter?
It's not a simulation.
Right. You can believe that. I'm saying if, right? This is a thought experiment. If you think that this is a simulation, if you believe in that aspect or that idea, and it's so good that you're able to enjoy life the way that you are now, what's the problem with it? Like, what's the downside?
I don't know.
Right? I mean, I'm sure that there are some. It's really difficult to understand and quandary that. But, if your life is so, it feels as though you have some agency over your own life, whether you do or don't. If you believe that you do, then there's very little that needs to be changed. And if that is able to be continued into a computer form, I don't see why people wouldn't take that.
Yeah, but then you're not in a body. So you're just
no, that's not even true. That's not even true though.
I don't know.
Because we could literally be living this exact same existence, but someone recreated it in a virtual world. And I just put my body on And it would lead to there would be super interesting dynamics in that, because you could have whatever body you would want.
Right.
So I think that like there would be so much going towards like the perfect physique and everything that it would almost completely eradicate the idea of looks.
That'd be interesting.
Because when you're meeting someone, you know that they could make this body out of anything, right? Like it could be whatever they want. So you're not focused on that. You're wanting to meet the individual behind the screen, so to say.
Right. Yeah.
So it could be really interesting.
I think my brain is not developed enough for this.
Neither is mine.
And I think that I don't know if 120 years more of living will ever get my brain developed for this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just like to think about what's possible, and I don't want to put limits on the possibilities, because people that in the 1980s that were looking at like the computers and the internet were like, that shit's not even possible. And we're 40 years later, and we can do like this phone has more this phone can do so much more than the computer that got us to the moon. Whether you believe that or not, right? Whether you believe that or not, the computer that they used for that was far less powerful than the phone that sits in your pocket every day.
Right.
So
that's true. Do you think we got to the moon?
Yeah, I do.
In 69, you think we got there?
I do think we got to the moon. I don't think that... I honestly haven't thought about it too much. Partially for the fact that I don't want to overthink it. Because I'm a patriot. I love the United States. I think it's the best country on earth. I mean, Jesus Christ, we have flaws, but even with all those flaws, people know it around the world constantly, like everywhere. People know the flaws of America probably just as much as they know how amazing it can be. And overwhelmingly, people want to come to America because it's the land of opportunity.
Right.
And I think part of that is, the understanding that we're technologically and, socially just a step above, which comes from probably...
Except China.
Yeah. I mean, China... I heard this...
Except they're communist.
I heard this crazy... I heard this... Yeah. Well, there's so much wrong with China, but there's a lot of positives to being able to make a 40-year plan and see that out as a dictator, Yeah. And there's more negatives.
He's done well.
But
he's done well.
Well, no. He's making moves towards...
he's done well with his plan. With his plan, he's done well.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, he's made fantastic decisions to improve the economics of China, but the people are no less, under the thumb.
Oh yeah.
But I don't even remember where I was. But that's okay.
Probably babbling on about how this dictator's going to live 600 years.
Not 600. Come on. Plus, he'll get assassinated.
But that's if global warming doesn't kill us, though, Devin.
Okay.
Did I push a button?
No, I mean, I think that I've definitely believed that the global warming is an issue. However, like life expectancy, I think that technology and the amount of smart people that we have on the planet, it just surpasses the ability for that to affect us in any catastrophic way. I could for sure be wrong on that. I mean, I'm just making bold statement after bold statement today. But
I know this is Episode 4, bold statement of the episodes. Just all the episodes.
The bold episode.
The bold episode. Do you think we're going to Mars?
Oh, yeah. I think within the next 5 years, we'll have boots on Mars.
When do you think we'll live on Mars?
So with having boots on Mars, we will have people living on Mars. That's you're not going to drop stuff off and leave right away.
But it's going to be like tents, and it's going to be like The Martian, where he has like a spaceship that he's living in that's on Mars.
Yeah.
And then he'll go out for like rovers and stuff.
Yeah. No, totally. I think that you'll see us landing on Mars in the next 5 years. I think that over the next 10 to 20 years will be huge movement towards settlement on Mars.
Interesting.
I think that once, they're bringing the price down for sending a rocket to Mars so dramatically that the economics of space-bearing civilization is becoming increasingly more viable. And with that,
I didn't even know there was a market price for sending a rocket.
Yeah. So like initially with NASA projects, you send one rocket to space, and then that rocket either explodes or lands in the ocean, and is useless. So SpaceX has done something that no one else has been capable of. Yeah, so everything's reusable, and their goal is to bring rocket launches down to $1 million a rocket launch, which sounds like a lot still, but if you think of like an airplane, if you're flying like a jumbo 747 or something like that, it's not too far off from that. So we could see a world where we're actually getting on a rocket to fly from LA to London rather than a plane, because it'll take 30 minutes rather than 9 hours.
See, that would be nice.
Yeah. And those prices will be, in par over time with a plane. And then, on the economic side, other than just... Can
you still take a plane?
Human, yeah. Well, you will take planes for short term, like short travel, because it just doesn't make sense to have a rocket station at every city.
Missoula will have rockets.
No, they won't. But
okay.
Aside from human travel, there's going to be a huge market that opens up just for mining. So space mining, finding rare metals, rare, gases on other asteroids and things, will become far...
Like the Tesseract.
Sure. What's the Tesseract exactly? Is it
from the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I don't even know what that is. Well, I do, but is the Tesseract the little ball,
the space
the cube? Yeah. No, so not that, but maybe. Oh, okay. Well, one day we'll see.
What if we find Infinity Stones?
So that would be cute.
What if Thanos comes down and shits on all of us?
That'd be terrifying. I don't know. To think about how the dynamics would change of life if you realize that there were actual people that could do things like that. I don't even know what would happen. It would be really... So do
you believe in aliens then?
Huh?
Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, but I don't think aliens are fucking flying.
You don't think that aliens are more sophisticated than we are?
Well, to think that they're more sophisticated than we are is just an assumption, right? So there could be aliens, but they could be microorganisms just like we have microorganisms and what we came from, right? We could find aliens on other planets that are just like jellyfish.
That'd be kind of cool.
It would be very interesting, and it would make a lot of sense because jellyfish on Earth are fucking aliens.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily, I believe that there are aliens, but I don't know whether they're more sophisticated than us or not. I haven't seen any evidence. Right? And I think that in the likelihood that there are aliens and these sightings that we've had are legitimate, I think that it's more likely that there are like, I don't know that it's more likely, but I think that there's a likelihood that it could be that they're interdimensional aliens.
Like Stranger Things?
Yeah, essentially. So, but they're not just under us, you know. They're in the fourth. They're operating in the fourth or fifth dimension, which would be a dimension that we just couldn't see. Because technically, like if you think about our dimension, and I don't know this for sure, I could totally be wrong on this. Obviously, you should fact check this. But if you think about our dimension, we see and we perceive life in 3 dimensions. So we can't really see in 2 dimensions or 1 dimension. And 2 dimensions can't see up to 3 dimensions, and 1 dimension can't see up to 2 dimensions, right? So those dimensions may know that they exist, but they can't access them or perceive them. So what's to say that the 5th, 6th, and 7th dimension don't also exist, but we can't access them and perceive them? So essentially what I'm thinking, or what I'm saying, is that the 4th and 5th and 6th dimension could be operating where we are, when we are, without us even being able to see it.
The amount of times you just said dimension in that sentence.
Damn it, I thought that was good, dude. That was
No, I actually understood it, but you said dimension a lot. Yeah, I guess I understand.
I think that would be, I think that's something that, you know, I believe I heard that. I don't remember where, but I haven't heard it often.
Definitely heard that.
Well, that's rude, you know? I can think.
Just come up with that.
But I haven't heard it as often as I feel like it should be talked about, because I guess people don't give a shit.
About what? Aliens?
Really anything. I mean, it's becoming way more obvious with like the political landscape and all of this stuff. People just want to be told what to do. The majority of people just want to be told and then want to assimilate, because they don't want to have to think for themselves. They don't want to have to do all this they get home from working 40 hours a week and they have 3 kids at home that they got to feed and deal with. They don't want to have to fucking go do research and think about random shit all night.
Yeah.
You know? And let's be honest, the majority of people are probably stupid. I actually don't believe that. I think individuals are smart. I think masses are stupid. But
I think a lot of individuals are pretty dumb.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a high population of really like intellectually handicapped people. And that's the most generous way you could possibly put it. It's intellectually handicapped.
And I think that might be because they don't think for themselves ever.
Yeah, they're never pushed to think more. And there's also, there's also the problem with IQ. Like there are people that are born with like 90 IQ, which is just above mentally retarded. And they're operating like they're not mentally retarded. And they're just not smart. Like they're just dumb people. And you see those people in life. You interact with them. They might be your friends. And you're like, this person, I love them. They're a great person, but they are stupid as nails.
And then you have the other people like myself, IQ of like 600, completely off the charts.
Yeah, I mean,
and you interact with me and you're like, oh my gosh.
Well, I think
genius.
I think that interacting with someone who has an extremely high IQ and interacting with someone who has a very low IQ are very similar interactions.
Yeah.
Because there's very little that's understood from both ends. Like if you're an average IQ person, like probably both of us are, interacting with someone who has a really low IQ is probably difficult because they're not perceiving much. Right. And then interacting with someone who has a super high IQ is probably really difficult because we're not perceiving much in their eyes. Yeah. So they're probably really similar interactions.
That'd be crazy if a super high IQ person and a super low IQ person were married and
go straight to marriage. At that point, I think there's some manipulation involved. And I think that low IQ person probably has a lot of money. I think it's really
the other way around.
No, I think it's very, very difficult for someone who has high intelligence to, they don't have to be super successful, but I don't think it's very simple for them to have low quality conversation. I think that that's a very difficult thing for them. I would expect, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't like talking to dumb people. And
I hate it.
Right. And both me and you are average. Let's be honest, right? So
yeah, you're average.
Yeah, I'm average.
Dude, I'm a genius. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, no.
I have a photographic memory.
What do you take photographs of then?
I don't know.
Like just
snapshots.
Just like cheesecake and
what?
Like dishes of oregano.
Where's this coming from? Oregano. No, rosemary.
Rosemary. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are the nutrition facts on rosemary?
It tastes good. Nutrition. It's an herb.
That doesn't mean that it doesn't have nutrition facts, right?
Well, okay. Less than 1 gram of everything.
Okay. But what if you've got a lot of grams of rosemary?
Then you could be getting a lot of sodium probably.
Yeah.
It is kind of salty.
That's what I was going to say.
You think we're going to war?
Yes, I think it's highly possible that we're going to war.
Ukraine? You think it'll be like a Cold War, or do you think we'll actually send?
I don't know. I think that this is obviously it's
going to be like a technological Cold War, I think.
We're already for sure going to war with the sanctions that we've imposed. And I learned something really interesting today, actually, that Putin operates. He doesn't have a bank account, so he doesn't technically have any assets that are his. He just takes from the state and then from a large party of very wealthy donors that are, part of like the royal class of Russia. So these high-ranking Russians, or super wealthy Russians, I guess you would say, they already had sanctions against them prior to this new round of sanctions. And so they were moving their money into their children so that they could continue using it for the state.
Smart.
And then our new round of sanctions expanded on our abilities to cut off those children, which is super interesting. But, there's a lot. Russia's huge, and they have quite a bit of resources.
I guarantee we don't even know what is over there.
Oh, yeah, for sure not.
It's like the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a dictatorial ocean.
Yeah.
But I think that, for one, gas prices are about to freaking go Billy Wonkers.
About to? They're already Billy Wonkers.
Right. So it's going to be worse.
You think it's going to be up to 7?
I think if we go up to 7, we're going to have some serious fucking problems. Because at that level, anyone who's living paycheck to paycheck does not have enough money to pay for gas. And that's like a vast majority of our population. And with the rise in gas prices,
I'm just going to ride my bike everywhere.
Right. And with a rise in gas prices, so it'll hit you in other places because we have to transport all of our fucking food. So all of the food prices are going to skyrocket as well. which just leads to an increase in everything. If you want to go out to eat, if you want to do anything, really, the prices are going to rise.
Buy my own chicken.
Yeah, I mean,
raise my own
maybe
beef.
buy a farm right away.
Honestly.
Yeah. I know
you're be a good long term.
I know your $400 in Dogecoin have skyrocketed, so you should probably pull them out and
they haven't.
Yeah.
It's been super volatile. Really.
It's interesting. I think that there's a real possibility that cryptocurrency takes off here soon. I'm not positive on this, and this is not investment advice.
Down.
But I think that cryptocurrencies are showing their merit, especially with the Canada problems.
Dogecoin to the moon.
I don't think it's going to be Dogecoin, unfortunately.
But that'll follow. Like they probably
That's
won't
not
be the
necessarily
leading one,
true, though.
I mean, it literally correlates with Bitcoin's rise and falls every single movement. Bitcoin has, Dogecoin has the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. It's literally the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that to an extent because all of that is asset investment. But as soon as people start using cryptocurrency for day-to-day transactions, I think that you'll see that separation really explode. And it could be the opposite way, right? So it could be that Dogecoin is assumed as the most viable cryptocurrency for day-to-day transactions. And so that is the one that separates from the Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin inherently is more of a store of value like gold, and doesn't have the best transaction velocity, whereas Dogecoin has a much higher transaction velocity and is much easier to spend day to day.
Yeah, it does.
But there's a lot of downfalls to it as well.
No.
So you could see a time.
Only positives.
You could see them separate, or you could continue to see them correlate because people could be storing their value in Bitcoin and transferring it over to Dogecoin because it would be pretty easy.
Dogecoin to the moon.
Sure.
I mean, if Dogecoin reaches $1,
how much are you going to be worth?
I'm a happy camper.
How much are you worth if it hits $1?
Well, I only have. So my average cost is about 14 cents.
Okay, well that doesn't matter, Peter. How many shares? How many?
I have
not shares.
1,568 Doge.
So you're a millionaire if it hits $100, or if it hits $1. No, you have 1,000. No, you.
Yeah,
you have $1,000.
No, because it's all percentage.
I can't do the goddamn math.
So I have $202 in.
What is the cost right now?
14 cents average. Cost right now is basically 13 cents.
And you have how many shares?
1,568.
I'm just going to say 1,500. So you have almost $200. Roughly $200.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 202.
Right. So
I've lost money for now. Long-term investment.
Yeah, dude. If it goes to $1, you have $1,500.
Yeah. It's a small little investment. I'm not looking to be a millionaire.
Why not?
Well, because I don't have that kind of money that I
Is
can
that
gamble
right? Dude, that does not seem right. I don't know if I'm doing my math correctly.
That can't be right.
I'm pretty sure that's right,
Okay.
but I can't tell if I'm doing my math correctly.
So if it doubles, then I'd have $400 and it'd be 24 cents. Basically.
Yeah. No, I'm 13, right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
But it does.
Because if I have 1,500 Dogecoin and it's worth $1, then I'll have $1,500.
Oh man,
yeah,
dude, all that intellectual conversation,
or high IQ,
all that intellectual conversation just went down the drain when we couldn't do math. Oh my Lord.
Oh jeez.
You know, I didn't go to a proper preschool. I never learned my times tables, which, you know, 1 times anything.
Oh man,
we're good. We're good at this.
No, I'm not looking to be a millionaire off of it. I just started investing in it because it was kind of fun. Well, I just put like $10 a month in it.
I think it's I think it's important to get introduced into the world of investing early. I think that you should probably invest $10 a month into something else.
Well, I put $400 a month into my Roth IRA as well.
Okay. That's good.
I'm not just shitting away my money.
Are you interested in making more risky bets?
I don't know.
Because if you only put $300 a month into your Roth IRA and took that $100 a month and invested it into, you know, a genomics editing company.
I've kind of got bitten in the ass when I do high gamble ones.
Yeah, and you're an addict for sure too. I feel like
I'm just gonna play it safe and then be like a millionaire while I'm 50. So,
but I don't know that. I think that you can operate in moderation, right?
We're gonna go with being a millionaire by the time I'm 50.
Okay, Peter, I'll help you get there. I'll help you get there quicker.
Well, I can just do that if I just put in the monthly limit.
No, I understand that, but all I'm saying is I'm going to help you get there quicker.
Okay.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that I'm going to do it through safety.
No, dude, I want you to be a little risky. Put it on the line.
Assuming the
put your nuts on the chopping block.
In the next 2 years.
No, it's going to, and that's fine. That's fine. It's going to, and that's fine. Because
but then you just buy a shit ton and then build it back up.
So you have an outlook of, 58 is when you're looking at getting, if you're doing $400 a month, you're going to be there quicker than 58. But what was I saying? Yeah, if you have that long-term outlook, then any sort of recession or short-term down is, it's easy to weather as long as you're able to live.
Hopefully I can live.
I think you can probably live. You're in Montana. You could just go hunt something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So are you going to pull all your money out of the stock market before it goes down?
I am not.
You're going to leave it all in?
No, I'm not a speculator. I'm a speculator in terms of my ideas. But I'm not a speculator in terms of my investing actions because I don't.
So you're going to keep everything.
Yeah, I don't think that I'm smart enough to time the markets, and I'm not in Congress, so I don't have the real shoe-ins. Yeah, I really don't have the knowledge.
Well, you can follow when they pull out all their money.
You were able to.
They got rid of that now? Of course they did.
Well, Twitter took down the Pelosi tracker, Pelosi investment tracker.
Classic
so Twitter. Now you can't. Well, you probably could somewhere else, but you can't do it through Twitter anymore, which is interesting. I think it's Pelosi. I could be wrong.
Dude, Twitter's fishy.
Yeah.
Twitter's made some fishy decisions.
There's a lot of, the fact that we ended up kicking our president off of social media is a serious problem. I don't think people understand how big of a problem that is.
Yeah, that is literally a breach of your First Amendment, and it's our president.
So, kind of, it's a breach. If it was a legitimate breach of your First Amendment right, we would have seen about it in court. However, Twitter is a company.
But they updated their stuff so that it wasn't.
What do you mean?
their like privacy or their rules for using the app or something like that. Whatever.
How did they update them? What was the update? Because they're still kicking people off. Which if it's a public domain, you can't.
Yeah, but they updated it. That they didn't before COVID. They weren't. They saying that if you spread COVID misinformation, then you'll be off the.
No, so that's not related necessarily. That's just adding on to their. So they've always had like if you're doxing or threatening to harm or creating problems, whatever their rules were around it. They've always had those in place, and they just threw Trump under one of those rules, saying that he was, I don't know, inciting public harm. But it's like if Twitter is Times Square, like the city square, where you can go and stand on a soapbox and preach to people, like you can't tell them, especially in the US, you can't tell them, you can't kick people off. You can't just kick people out because they have wacky ideas. Right. However, they're arguing that they are not that.
But they are.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that they are. I do. I agree with you. That's why I think that it was a terrible decision to kick Trump off of Twitter. But
and he was super entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it for sure. Everyone wants to listen to someone who seems like they're losing their mind. But you know, they set a precedent that's
not
scary.
Good. Do you think Trump will rerun in 2024?
I do not. I don't think he will. Do you?
Brutal. No.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's best for the country.
Yeah, no. Maybe economically.
Possibly. I think we're going to see a red wave for sure.
We're going to see a massive red wave.
Yeah, pretty much across the country. But I don't think that there are great people for the job. There are great Republicans who are pretty close to center, but more conservative in their
That's what we need is
financial.
Just a middle of the road person.
Yeah, we need someone that's not into all of this, which is the problem is, oh man, I was thinking about this today. I think that there's so much goddamn manipulation globally. There's, have you ever heard of the Rothschilds?
Did they create the Roth IRA?
No. So the Rothschilds are the idea is they're this overly wealthy family that has never really been in contact, but they are controlling everything.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see Putin and Xi Jinping meet just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, however long it was. And then it looks like the financial markets in the US are kind of starting to crash already. We're looking at raising interest rates. The political landscape in the US is going to shit. And now Russia is moving in on Ukraine. Canada is imposing these wacky restrictions under Emergencies Act, which has only been enacted in 3 instances in the past, which was World War I, World War II, and when an actual terrorist, a domestic terrorist organization was in operation. And now they're doing it for something that is legitimately coming to an end across the world.
It's just because they're not. Is it Is it unvaccinated or non-masked people? What are
Unvaccinated. So it's not. It's moved away from that completely.
It's both.
It's moved away from that completely because it has now become about control. These truckers asserted themselves in a belief when the truckers were one of the highest vaccinated populations of people pretty much on the planet. They had a 90% vaccination rate in Canada for truckers. And they were essentially just standing in arms together against mandates, believing that it's not best for the people and that we shouldn't do this. And Trudeau, who is, he's a pretty much the royal family of Canada, and is now acting like that, just felt, I think he just felt attacked and kind of belittled because they were just showing their strength against him. And he was too cowardice to just bow to them and understand that this is coming to an end. There's no reason to enact these mandates. Like, let's move on and continue on as like the fucking peace. You guys are the peaceful country. Canada is the peaceful fucking country. When you think of Canada, they're the nice goddamn people. And this Trudeau waxy ass looking motherfucker is just, dude, I can't even believe the shit that is going on there. You've got old women protesting and then getting run over by horses. And you're like, what the fuck is going on, man? And then you look at the U.S. and you're like, oh man, well, we look pretty good. For the time being, we look pretty good.
We're stable. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, but the things that he said about the people just obviously made it much worse. There's no question about that. Calling them racists, calling them Nazis, calling them, undesirable people. It's just, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And that's what I was leading into is like, it feels like all of this is coming together at the same time. So it feels like there's a game being played.
Yeah. Right at the end of the Olympics.
Right.
Might add.
So there's, and that right now, as Russia is making decisions to move in on Ukraine, China and Russia have colluded, and China is about to make some decisions that are gonna, us going into war with either one is dangerous because it weakens us for the other one. If we're going to go to war, we need to be going to war against China because Russia is weak. Economically, China is the least, one of the least economical countries of the larger countries. Their economy is pretty shit, but China's is fantastic.
Right.
And if we go to war,
you might also say that this has been a long-term plan of China's. As they created this COVID.
Yeah, I mean,
we could go that far.
I think that I don't know. I don't think you can go that far. I think it's a possibility. I guess you could go that far.
Seems Devin's Wi-Fi had cut out on him again.
I'm personally under the belief that they were just negligent in their search for
use this time to
understanding of diseases.
Sports segment, and then he should be coming right back on. So while Devin takes this break,
God bless America,
we are going to talk about how bad the NBA dunk contest was, and it was pretty terrible. Unfortunately, I don't have anyone to talk to about it, so that's just strictly my opinion. I think they either need to get rid of it or they... oh, he's back. Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Back. I kept talking. Oh, he froze again.
Boop, beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 boop. 53 minutes.
Yeah, okay, he froze again. Anyway, back to the slam dunk contest. They either need to get rid of it, or teams need to let their actual star players do the dunk contest so that it would actually be good and entertaining for people.
What the shit?
Yeah,
Peter Byrne.
That'd be interesting. You're back.
I'm back. Who are you talking to?
I kept talking this time instead of just silence.
You said that'd be interesting.
I talked about the NBA slam dunk contest. I said this is a moment to interject with some sports. So I did it.
Okay.
Back to where you were at.
I don't know why my internet gives out at the same time every day.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
It's the government.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I did my sports segment, so we're good.
Well, that was literally 27 seconds.
Yeah, it was pretty good. You're gonna have to go back and listen to it.
No, let's move into it. We talked about we're 55 minutes into this podcast, and all we've talked about is geopolitics essentially. And
so I get 5 minutes.
What? No. No, you can continue on.
No, I don't know. This is the most boring time of sports. This section of the year.
Right.
There's literally nothing going on.
March Madness starts next month, right?
March Madness starts next month. It was NBA All-Star Weekend this last weekend.
Well, you can definitely talk about that. I mean, we've got Michael Jordan coming in number one.
Well, I guess.
LeBron coming in number 2, right? For the top 75, right?
Oh, yeah, top 75. Yeah.
Don't look at me like I don't know, dog.
Well, geez. I didn't know. I didn't know you knew. No, I was going to talk about more how Steph Curry hit 16 threes in the All-Star game. That's pretty cool. 2
of them are ridiculous look-away threes.
Yeah, they're stupid. They're stupid.
Yeah, those are pretty insane. That one, the one where he's pretty much
worst. Huh? Literally having his worst shooting season of his career, and then he goes out and hits 16 threes on 27 shots, which seems like a lot.
No, it doesn't.
That is above 50%.
Yeah, that is insane.
That is above 50, yeah.
That is a crazy shooting average.
Yeah.
I feel like that game was stupid boring, though. If one guy is shooting 27 threes and making 16 of them, granted the shots are probably pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a pretty decent game. I watched the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining.
But when you look back at all those threes, they're all like on break. Most of them are on break.
Yeah, he just pulls up.
Right. And as a player on the team, you're probably like, God damn it, now I got to run back on defense again. We couldn't move the ball around for 2 seconds.
But that's how he plays in general. That's the way he plays.
I guess he just takes advantage of those transition periods.
Yeah.
Which is smart. But that 1 3 from like pretty much middle court where he's
stupid.
He's turned away running back and the ball is still 15 feet from the rim. You're like, what?
Stupid.
I think that's your best evidence for aliens.
What? No. Stupid comment, Devin.
No, it was a good joke. Come on, man.
I didn't even laugh.
Yeah, that's true. I laughed, so I make myself laugh.
Have you heard about this new golf league?
What does that even mean?
So, in golf, like the main league, I don't know what it's called. I guess it is league, is the PGA Tour.
So that's a tour, not a league. How does that work?
I mean, it's a league. So
how does a golf league work?
It's just like the NBA. It's just like any other season. They just go to different events. You get certain points for your placing at an event.
Right, but everyone's playing against everyone, right?
Yeah. And then at the end of the season, whoever has the most points from the PGA Tour events wins the PGA Championship.
So it's just a giant round robin tournament?
Essentially.
Okay. I respect it.
Yeah. But there's this new league Saudi Arabia is starting. And they're guaranteeing just a buttload of money.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Obviously. And like Phil Mickelson is joining it.
Of course.
Which is crazy.
Yep. Also,
Bryson DeChambeau.
So they're doing it in Saudi Arabia, obviously, right?
Yeah.
That course is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
That course is going to be gorgeous. Did you know Saudi Arabia cloud seeds once a week?
It what?
Cloud seeds. So it doesn't rain naturally in Saudi Arabia, but they are so wealthy that they make it rain by cloud seeding.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that is insane.
So how are they the wealthiest country, but then they like, I guess they're just terrible to their people then? Huh?
Yes. So there's
isn't it controlled by the Taliban, or is that Iraq?
That's Iraq. Those are very different countries.
Pretty close to each other.
Oh, seems like a little bit of racism in there.
No. Uneducation.
Just both in a desert. Both wear
They're
headdresses.
literally right next to each other. Are they not?
I don't think that they're right next to each other, but I don't know. They're relatively close. They're both in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But yeah, so God. Oh yeah, there's a lot of slave labor in Saudi Arabia.
They're literally right across the
Dead Sea.
Right across the river.
What is that? Is there no, there's a giant port in there. What
I'm not sure.
Shut up, Siri.
Persian Gulf.
The Persian Gulf.
Yeah.
So
wow, Saudi Arabia is huge.
Yeah, no, it's massive.
Huge.
Yeah. I forgot though.
But Qatar, United Arab Emirates, it's literally right there. So that makes sense then. But Iraq is literally a border of Saudi Arabia, and Iran is right across the Persian Gulf, and Kuwait is literally right there as well.
Right. Yeah, they're both in the Middle East, and they all wear headdresses.
Well, yeah, but...
One second. Ugh. We're about to be interrupted.
By who?
My mom. Hello? Hello?
Should I keep talking?
Yeah.
I'll keep talking. I'll look up Saudi Arabia Golf League.
Okay. Saudi Arabia. So, is it the United Arab Emirates that's super rich, or is it Saudi Arabia?
Both. Well, United Arab Emirates is super rich.
They're the ones with the Burj Khalifa, right?
Huh?
The Burj Khalifa. Maybe I got that wrong. So they have the largest building in the world. Yeah, Burj. I don't know how to spell Burj. Well, that's the worst spelling you've ever seen. I was actually super close. That's in the United Arab Emirates. So there's a lot of slave labor. Slave labeler? There's a slave labeler.
Slave labeler.
In the United Arab Emirates, I believe.
So
and that's how they...
Looks like the Saudi Golf League is dead in the water.
Oh, really? Even when they got Phil Mickelson?
Yeah. Apparently he made some pretty controversial topics.
Of course he did. He's a golfer.
Comments. Yeah.
I feel like you can't be a really good golfer and make enough money without being kind of wild.
No, they make a ton of endorsement deals.
Right, but if I guess yeah. I feel like if you're gonna be one of the wealthy golfers, you want to be one of the cool wealthy golfers that's either like really fat and just drinks a lot and is just crazy, or is kind of out there in their ideals and ideas.
Yeah, that's fair. What about, did you see the United States women's national team won their court hearing and they get $24 million now?
I did not see that.
The fair play.
Explain it.
Now getting paid equally. So now they all get So it turns out that there's only actually 6 women 6 players that were a part of the lawsuit to begin with, so they're the only ones to get part of that $24 million payout.
Oops.
But apparently, with U.S. soccer now saying that there's going to be fair pay, then everyone benefits, I suppose. But really, only 6 people get paid a ton of money.
So I guess I don't know enough about this topic. Were they being paid in proportion less than the men?
No. They're getting paid. Yeah, they're getting paid less, but in terms of percentages and proportions, I don't think they're getting paid. So they went with a different pay structure than the men. So the women, I believe, went with a pay structure of we get paid every single time we win something.
Right. Which would make sense because they're good.
Yeah. Whereas the men, they went with we want regular pay.
Based off
of sales and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think men get paid more because of that.
Yep.
But it's also, so it's almost like their own fault, I guess. And not necessarily.
I don't know that it's their own fault, because I think that had they gone the other way, I think had they gone with the same pay structure as the men, they would still be getting paid less, because they don't sell as much. And unfortunately,
and that's sexist to say,
right? But unfortunately, if you go and see a comedian, and one comedian is more entertaining than the other comedian, not to say that it's not as good, but one's more entertaining, the one that's more entertaining is going to make more money.
Right.
So I don't.
Yeah, I never understood the basis behind the lawsuit to begin with.
And I think a lot of athletes who actually pay attention, even female athletes, understand that. Like if you've been a collegiate soccer athlete and you go play women's soccer and then you go play men's soccer, inherently, I guess it's not inherently, but there's going to be more people at the men's games than the women's games.
Right. Unless the women's team are just that good.
Right. Which if they are that good and they're more entertaining.
Exciting.
Yeah. Then absolutely they should have more people at their game.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. It's such a touchy topic.
It's a touchy,
which it shouldn't be.
Talk about.
Which it shouldn't be. And I think it's kind of encapsulated by this, and I'm gonna tread into open waters with this one, but I think it's kind of accented by trans women competing in female sports.
Shouldn't be allowed.
I agree. And I'm
put my fist down and go right there.
Like when a guy or a used to be guy can come in and say that they're a woman now and eradicate all the history from that women's sport.
Are you talking about the swimmer?
There's been swimmers, there's been track stars, there's been fighters. It
seems to be only in sports that are a serious physiological difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like in track, men have a higher aerobic capacity than women.
And are often just larger and can move quicker.
And in swimming, and so it's just like, you don't hear these stories with women or with men transition to women and become dominant in tennis. I don't know.
Right. Soccer. I'm trying to think of a
more skill-based sport. You know what I mean?
Oh, I watched a video today on a soccer channel on a soccer Instagram page of a male soccer player training with, it's a professional male soccer player training with a professional male women's soccer team. And he literally dribbled the entire team and then scored. And you're like, there's a difference in all of this. There are differences between men and women. Not to say that like women can't have just as engaging sport, but like, I don't know. It's gotta be different in some way for it to be as engaging, I think.
Yeah. The whole transgender thing, I think that they made a serious mistake. Yeah.
Well, it's hard because you're like with this progressive, agenda.
Like it's great. Like, yeah, but it's like great because like, okay, they're happier because they feel normal now, which is awesome. Okay, perfect. But like,
well, you're ruining the ability for some people to make a legacy.
Right. Like, and if you're
the best women aren't going to be able to compete.
They're not even just like breaking new records. They're shattering.
Right. And they're average. Unfortunately, they're like pretty average men.
Yeah.
That couldn't
they're
compete
not like superstars
at the men's side.
Yeah.
And so when they transition to the women's side, they're just still super dominant.
They're dominant.
I saw a poster.
So I think there needs to be a decision like, hey, if you're going to have that gender change, then you're going to forego your sports.
Right. Or make like a transgender league.
Yeah. Like a category. Yeah.
Right. Like here, you can run against the women, but you're not going to take away their things,
Yeah.
Like you can run with these women, but we're going to put you in a different category.
You're going to be scored
because we've got men here and we've got women here, somewhere in between, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I think, it's a good thing that we're an hour and 10 minutes into this conversation for us to have this conversation. But,
and we have no viewers to get canceled by.
Yeah, but they'll pull it back.
They'll pull it back. We're about to get canceled in 5 years.
Yeah, 5-10 years
from
now.
Take this out of context in 5 years.
Oh man, I feel like
brutal.
I feel like I'm super cancelable.
Oh, you're very cancelable.
Just my face.
You have a big head.
I got a big head. I'm white. I'm tall.
You say things as well.
I talk. I don't think I say anything that's too off the radar.
No. I don't know. I think I say a few things that could probably be pretty canceled.
Yeah. So this is a good group. This is a good combination.
Mostly in private, though.
You're one of those Trumpers, huh? One of those Trump guys where you're talking with your buddies, huh?
Hey, people know my opinions and they still like me. So
yeah, that's true.
When I get canceled, they'll still be by my side and it'll be okay.
Yeah. Because the internet isn't real.
Because the internet's not real.
I just mean like the discourse on the internet is often not real. Like the people that are interacting on the internet are not the masses.
Right.
So,
Right.
And if you just continue, they're not going to say anything.
What are they going to do? Yeah.
Keep whining. And then we're in their head. We're in their head.
Planted a seed.
Okay. Did you have any other topics that you wanted to talk about today?
No, that's pretty good.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us for episode number 4.
Pew pew.
We will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. And, share it with someone who disagrees with us on women's sports or transgender people. And let's start a conversation. If there's, I haven't heard all of the arguments for it. So I'm willing to hear some arguments about it.
Those were very surface level opinions.
I obviously don't know everything. That's why it's you should fact check this podcast. Don't take 95 to 110% of this with a grain of salt. That's a big portion. So just just have fun with us. Not like, come on, not like that. All right. Thank you. Adios and goodbye.
Bye.